Previously on Survivor.
Welcome to Survivor Zoom Island.
I am Andrew. I am the exiled member of Villanova Zoom Survivor.
I solved Miguel's math problem you can all see here. The immunity idol is mine.
Frank reached out to me individually saying we should talk. Siobhan reached out to me individually saying we should talk. So everyone's coming to me individually saying, like, I want to have a strategic conversation with you about who we're voting out.
You and I have decided that we're going to go to the end with each other.
Frank,
so
he
paranoid.
scares me. He's so paranoid.
The right game move is probably to blindside Frank this week.
You need to play your idol this week. They want you out.
Frank has played the hidden immunity idol. All votes cast against Frank will not count. Third person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, and the third member of our jury, Matt. We are swapping tribes.
I'm trying to pull off the scheme of the century to get them to vote for Patrick because he's the biggest threat of the game.
Fourth person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, and the fourth member of our jury, Pat.
No one else knows how hard Siobhan and I are working together, and I want it to stay that way.
So everybody drop your buffs. We have merged.
I got the idol.
Let's go.
Nice.
Okay, we got it. They can have it.
So this whole Zoom, me, Brad, and Sean were texting each other like, we're not really trusting this whole Mr. and Siobhan thing.
I mean, I want Siobhan out of the game now.
Shit. Everyone realizes that Siobhan is the one with two idols, and everyone has figured out that you two are working together.
I would like to play one on myself. I would like to play another one on Andrew.
Sixth person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, and the sixth member of our jury, Lexi.
So I have the immunity idol. I think I'm going to keep this one tight with me for the week.
At the last minute, I didn't feel right, and I'm like, I want to get rid of Brad while I still can. And then Siobhan texted me, and she's like, are you sure about your decision? I'm like, no, I want to vote for Brad. And she's like, I'm in.
Seventh person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, and the seventh member of our jury, Brad.
Votes were supposed to be split between Justin and me, not Justin and Brad.
So Mr. came to me and Sean. He wants to side with us and vote Frank.
Eighth person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, and the eighth member of our jury, Frank. Patrick is returning into the game.
You miss me?
I think I'm in a very tough spot where I will have to vote out Siobhan and face the real world consequences.
Ninth person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, Siobhan. Siobhan, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go.
So I feel really strong.
Literally, way better.
Don't really know where. Can I trust you?
Not stop. I led a movement to vote out Siobhan, which was not pleasant at all. She was running circles around all of us. She was playing the best game by far. If she got to the end, she would have killed us.
I'm sad and I feel like a doofus. I ended up not going with that plan I was talking about before. I ended up using my immunity for myself. Yeah, there was this plan. Siobhan had this plan for me, her, Patrick, and Justin to vote for Sean, but that didn't pan out because it turns out everyone was in lockstep against Siobhan, and there was nothing that could have been done to change that. I just wish that I didn't vote for Sean because now Sean knows I voted for him, basically, and that's not good for me.
The vote went exactly as I anticipated it. I was right in the middle, where I want to be. I was the only one who truly had all the information this round, and I think that that positions me pretty well. Siobhan went, which I think she had to. I didn't enjoy blindsiding her like that, leading her on, but I think it's the best move for my game. Giving her more life was just going to make her harder to beat if she snuck her way to the end, and so I think just kind of nipping that in the bud the second I got back, it's what I aimed to do, and it's what I did.
So today we're playing Pokemon Showdown.
Oh, you guys are screwed.
you're going to have a team of 6 Pokemon.
Do we get to build it?
No.
Fuck.
Your team will be random. So with 5 people, obviously, you can't make a bracket. I also figured, where's the fun in just having random matches? So I figured it would be best to allow you guys to determine who you want to challenge throughout this, who you want to challenge to a battle. How it's going to work is we'll start with AJ. He'll choose somebody to challenge. Whoever he challenges, they have to accept. You can't deny a challenge, unfortunately. You guys will go one-on-one. You'll have a Pokemon battle. And whoever loses will get a strike. AJ, we're going to start with you. Who would you like to challenge?
I'm going to challenge Andrew.
AJ just sent out Ting Lu. Wow. AJ just super effective Andrew's guy. That's pretty crazy. Now Andrew sends out Cresselia. I feel like I'm watching like the show right now.
I mean, they're nailing the pacing.
So there absolutely is a right play here for Andrew, and that was not it.
Yeah, I just don't know what's happening here.
Andrew has some guy named Fortress. Whoa, 1% left. That's pretty clutch. Oh, he died.
Andrew had a guy named Fortress.
Ooh.
Damn, he just pulled out a Kyogre. I know that's a legendary. Oh, he
That's
wow.
crit.
Oh, still hanging on.
Not flash cannon on a Kingdra.
Yeah, God, what are you doing?
Idiot. So that's strike 1 for Andrew. And Justin, who would you like to challenge?
Listen, I mean, you only live once. I want to go up against one Sean Evans.
You
just
really don't want this.
just to feel the burn of getting absolutely demolished.
Sean has some guy that looks like a nose.
Ah, earthquake.
Sean has a strike. Pat, who are you challenging next?
I'm gonna take a shot at the king and go for AJ.
Patrick is sending out a new guy.
Is Andy Peach? I wish I had him.
Fezza.
Fezza? Obama Snow?
Obama? That is a yassified fish. Patrick is running away with this one, but he is a Pokemon down and has revealed all his guys.
The issue is that all of mine are at very low health right now.
Mama.
Obama's back. Oh,
now he's gone.
Assassinated
Sneak it
Obama.
down.
Sean, do you know who you want to challenge?
I'll just go for Mister.
AJ has a strike. Sean and Mister will now fight.
This is an elimination match, right?
This is.
It is. I just realized that it says slaking is loafing around.
Dude, he do be loafing.
Alright, Andrew's down 4 guys. He's now sending the big nose guy in. Alright, the
2
big
in a
nose
row
got
is
him.
bullshit.
Blastoise,
But
very
okay.
low on health.
Goodbye.
Proba passes dead. Oh, draining
Okay,
kiss.
good
Alright,
game.
well, it looks like
Alright.
Andrew, unfortunately, is out of the challenge. AJ, your turn to challenge.
I'm gonna challenge Andrew again.
Andrew's out.
Andrew's out.
Thanks, AJ. Thanks for kicking me while I'm down.
Who else doesn't know how to play?
Thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Justin.
Okay, take Justin. AJ versus Justin. Oh, you guys are in like another dimension right now.
AJ is actually just setting up. This is kind of crazy.
What do I?
You're basically playing well.
Thanks.
God damn it.
Whoa,
I don't
that
even
guy-
understand what's going on, but it's funny.
I love Swampert.
It's a really good matchup for Swampert too. That is so unfair.
Holy shit.
Alright, AJ is out of the challenge. Justin, it's your turn again to challenge somebody. So you can challenge Pat or Sean.
I haven't played Pat yet. I'll play Pat.
Why is Guja dripping? That's my question.
That drip.
He's got that goo.
Oh, Guja died.
I don't like how you said that, Sean. He's got that goo.
Alright, Pat's down to 1 guy. What's he gonna say?
Ariyama with 19 health is about to save me.
If it's
Oh, never mind.
Never mind. Okay.
And
Yeah.
Justin wins the matchup.
I've already faced Justin, so why don't Sean and I fight for the chance to get to face Justin again? Well, this was a good time, everybody.
Alright, Pat.
All right.
Out of the
Let's do
challenge.
this, Justin.
Alright, potentially the deciding match here. If Sean loses, then this is it for him. But if Sean wins this, then he has to beat Justin again.
But in for Nate, that's a goat right there.
Oh, what happened?
Oh,
You lost
What?
because you ran out of time.
I clicked.
Uh,
What?
Game disagrees.
This is the championship match. This is the one for all the marbles. Immunity. A spot in the final four.
I shouldn't have lost that first fucking game.
Well, you should have clicked faster, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
I sold.
Sean Evans wins immunity, securing himself a spot in the final four. Congratulations, Sean.
Then we played this long-ass, boring-ass Pokemon game, which was rigged. I don't know how to feel. I think my time is running out, and it's really sad to say that, but I don't know how I'm going to make it.
I've never played Pokemon. Never played Pokemon Go. Just never got into it. The moment Miguel said it was Pokemon, I knew I was not going to win.
As soon as Miguel said Pokemon, I'm like, I got this. I know for a fact that I am the biggest fan of that series and games in this group.
With Sean having immunity, me having an immunity idol between Justin and AJ.
As I've said, my ideal final three is Justin and AJ. But Andrew has an idol that he will be playing on himself. Sean has immunity because, of course, it was a Pokemon challenge at Final 5. I wanted to vote out Sean this week. Justin was on board. I think we could have swung AJ. Not an option anymore. So, as much as I hate it, I think I'm just going to have to fall in line, take out AJ. I'd say maybe there's another move to be made, but there just isn't. Because I have no incentive to vote out Justin. I think he wants to go to the end with me, and I think he's the person I have the best shot at beating.
Justin, I love him, but he's just been a number in other people's votes this entire game. He did find one idol, which he played incorrectly for himself, but no votes were cast for him, so it was a waste of an idol. Granted, yes, he has survived multiple rounds of essentially Russian roulette. He hasn't made anything happen on his own.
It's gonna have to be AJ here. As much as we want Mr. out as soon as possible. Fingers crossed that there's no blind side on me.
With Siobhan gone and me having won this immunity challenge, I am by far ahead of everyone in terms of tangible assets on their resume. I have 2 individual immunity wins. I have never truly been at risk being the one voted out because I've been able to swing every vote since I got pushed to the very bottom. I've clawed my way back up. I've made smart moves. I've worked with whoever I needed to. While doing so, I don't believe that I've made any major enemies along the way. I don't think anyone currently has a stronger resume than me. Everyone's gonna shoot for the king, but I'm immune, so they can't vote me out. They have to get me out through fire making. They don't have a better story than I do. This is my game to lose, and I'm here for it.
Everyone thinks they can beat me. I still have time to make a move at Final 4, do something flashy in front of the jury, and more importantly, I love arguing with people. I will argue with anyone about anything, and especially about why I deserve to win Survivor if I'm there in front of the jury at Final Tribal.
Andrew hasn't actually made any moves. He hasn't had a successful idol played by him. He doesn't have an individual immunity challenge win.
I'm excited to get this idol finally out of my hands. I'm locked in on this challenge because if I win this challenge or if I win fire, I think I win the game.
Mr. can't make it to the end. He was on the right side of the game for a while.
The only thing he's done is being on the right side of every vote so far. Is it really that impressive? I don't think so.
AJ's gonna be voted out. It's a compliment to him. I think everyone's terrified to keep him around because he could win one of the 2 challenges for sure. If he gets to the end, he definitely could get some votes.
The only concern I have this week is that the last time I was on a tribe of 5 people where AJ was the easy vote, I got voted out. So I'd really prefer if that didn't happen again. When does lightning strike twice, right?
The vibe is eerie. It's very windy outside, not that you can see wind. This is the first tribal council happening during the day instead of night, so like my survivor circadian rhythm is kind of off, and I know that I'm about to be voted out and there's nothing I can do, so I kind of feel like a prisoner on death row enjoying their last meal before execution time. Sean, Patrick, and Justin basically admitted to me that like they know Andrew has an idol and is playing it, and so therefore And also that they don't want me in the game, so they're going to vote me out.
I think my focus just has to be on making sure the target stays on AJ and doesn't get shifted over to me.
I'm still up to the very last minute, 2 p.m. I'm still going to try to cook.
Welcome to Final 5 Tribal Council. You've made it very far in this game. However, only one of you can win. So that's why somebody needs to be voted out. Mister, I want to start with you. Based on the 5 people that are still in the game, is there one person here who you think has a really good shot when they make the final Tribal Council? Like, who has the best story here?
I mean, I think everyone has really good stories. AJ's played a phenomenal game, both from challenges and just from a voting perspective. He and I share a lot of a similar game, and he's someone that I think would be a great person to sit at the end with because there's differences but also similarities. I think Patrick is in a great spot coming back from the edge, being able to kind of skip the part where you piss everyone off. And I think Sean and Justin have played phenomenal social games, have shown up well in challenges and picking up immunity idols. So I mean, I think everyone has strengths. There's not like a weak link here. I think everyone has a very fair argument as to why they should win.
AJ, is there anybody here who you think is like really obviously on the chopping block tonight?
Yes, it's me. And I think Andrew is kidding everyone because okay. You all have to, everyone in this game besides myself has been Andrew's stooge. And you can't, just win Survivor by acting as someone else's stooge the whole game. So, most people in this room have not made big moves, really. You've kind of gone along with big moves arranged by another dominant figure. But I think that you need to be, show some independence, surprise people.
I mean, I believe that if AJ and I didn't vote the same way on like 2 or 3 votes together.
We did.
I find it very interesting that AJ is calling me a stooge of Andrew when every single vote Andrew has put my name down. So, I mean, I don't see how that's the case there. I mean, I've obviously been on the opposing side of Andrew for a very, very long time in this game.
I get what AJ's saying. You have to make moves to win, but at this point, you shouldn't make moves just for the sake of making moves if they don't actually benefit your game. If I were to just blindly follow whatever AJ's saying, that's not my move, that's AJ's move. So why do I want to bring that further into the game?
Just because someone hasn't necessarily played the flashiest game so far doesn't mean they didn't have a lot of influence in them.
Is there somebody here who you think is more likely than not to win the challenge and have you sit next to them?
At this point, I don't think anyone's going to take me. I have a feeling that I will probably be put in fire making if I don't win this challenge. So
is that because you think that you're a bigger threat than other people, or what makes you say that?
Just looking at the fact that I have 2 individual immunity wins makes me a potential threat in the eyes of the jury.
Patrick, missing a big chunk of the game, arguably one of the harder parts, like, do you think that you have a real shot when it comes to the final 3, or do you think people might be underestimating your threat level?
I've taken advantage of the time that I have been in the game more than a lot of people who never got voted out. I think there were a lot of people who, in the time that I missed or in the time since I came back, didn't really do anything or tried to do things and consistently failed. And so it's really a matter of what do you value? Someone who played hard, got some moves to work and some that really went poorly, or people who sat back and kind of watched the game pass them by but survived to the final 5.
AJ, I want to actually end with you. Pretty candid about feeling like you were the obvious person that's going to go home today. You feel like everybody's targeting you. Is there a last pitch that you want to make to your fellow tribe mates to keep you around, or anything else that you would like to say?
There's not much that I would like to say other than that, it's been a real pleasure to be in this game. I sent everyone a heartfelt goodbye text, so make sure to check your texts from me before you vote today.
So with that, it is time to vote. Everybody, please text me who you are voting for today. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Hey, Miguel.
Yes,
well, this has been a long time coming. I have an immunity idol from a long time ago, and there's no point holding on to it after this, so I'd like to play it for myself.
All right. The rules of Survivor state that if somebody plays a hidden immunity idol, all votes cast against them will not count. Andrew has played a hidden immunity idol. All votes cast against him will not count today. I'll read the votes. First vote, Mr. does not count. AJ, it's 1 vote AJ. Patrick. 1 vote Patrick. AJ. 2 votes AJ, 1 vote Patrick, 1 vote left. Next person voted out of Survivor Zoom Island, AJ. AJ, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. All right. Welcome to the Final Four. As a reminder, somebody will win immunity in this Final Four. That person will get to pick one person who will go to the final 3 with them, and then the other 2 will compete in the challenge. If you win this challenge, you can pick somebody to go to the end and then put yourself into fire. For today's challenge, you are going to be tested on how well you are paying attention throughout the game. I'm going to ask a series of questions about various things that happen at the sessions. If there's somebody who has the most points by the end of the 10 questions, that person will win immunity. But if there's a tie or multiple people have the same amount of points, the next couple questions will be sudden death. My first question is, who was the 7th person voted out of the game? 3, 2, 1, reveal. So Patrick and Mr. say Brad, Sean says Patrick, and Justin says Lexi. Patrick and Mr. were correct. The correct answer was Brad. List each of the 5 members on the swapped Room 2 tribe. 3, 2, 1, reveal. Okay, the correct answer is Sean, Lexi, Frank, Andrew, Allie. At the 6th tribal council, how many times was Brad's name written down? 3, 2, 1, reveal. Okay, Pat says 2, Mr. says 4, Sean says 4, Justin says 4. The correct answer was 4. Who won the 2nd immunity challenge after the merge? 3, 2, 1, reveal. Okay, Pat says AJ, Mr. says AJ, Justin says Siobhan, and Sean says AJ. The correct answer is AJ. This was touchy subjects. Which 3 players received a clue to an advantage following the Quiplash challenge? Pat says AJ, Frank, Siobhan. Mr. says AJ, Frank, Siobhan. Justin says AJ, Frank, Siobhan. And Sean says AJ, Frank, Siobhan. That was the correct answer. Everybody got it right. In the challenge, touchy subjects, what was the majority answer to the question, who wrongly thinks they are in control of the game? Reveal. Pat says Siobhan, Mr. says himself, Justin says Mr., and Sean says himself. The correct answer was Mr., so Mr. and Justin get points here. In Beat Boop, what is the correct response for the number value 149? Reveal. Pat says 149, Mr. says 149, Justin says beep, Sean says 149. The correct answer is 149. So everybody but Justin gets a point. In the original task challenge, the first task challenge we did, how many points was take a selfie with someone over the age of 70 worth? Reveal. Pat says 1, Mr. says 2, because you're ageist. Justin says 2, and Sean says 2. The correct answer was 2. Everybody but Patrick gets a point here.
Can't believe take a selfie with someone over the age of 70 was more points than drink a gallon of water.
In the Family Feud challenge, what was the number 1 answer to where was the last time you let out an ear-piercing scream? Pat says hell. Mr. says haunted house. Justin says amusement park. Sean says car. The only person correct was Justin. It was amusement park / roller coaster. There's one more question. However, Mr. is ahead by 2 points. Since at this point, there is no way that anybody else wins the challenge. Andrew Mr. wins immunity, guaranteeing himself a spot in the final 3. Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you.
One of you will be sitting at the final tribal council with Mr. The other 2 will be competing in the challenge, in the tiebreaker or final 4 challenge, whatever you want to call it. The winner of that challenge will be the 3rd member of the final tribal council. and then the other person who loses will become the last member of our jury. And now I can also reveal what the challenge is going to be. I'll like flip a coin or something to see who goes first. And essentially, you guys are just going to both play Tetris until you lose. And whoever has the most points will win. If you think that you're going to be placed in fire, I suggest taking time to practice playing this game so that by the time the Final Four session rolls around, you are a master at Tetris.
Andrew won immunity. The challenge truly couldn't have gone worse. I put up a pitiful performance, truly awful across the board. Barely got anything right, and Andrew won. He absolutely balled out. He deserves it. I just really hope that didn't cost us the game. But it was a somewhat interesting tribal. AJ tried to pull some hijinks at the end. He mentioned his, really heartfelt goodbye message to all of us to thank us for playing the game with him. What it was a faked screenshot of Miguel telling him that he had gotten an idol. He sent it to me and said, vote Justin or you're screwed. He sent it to Justin and said, vote Pat or you're screwed. I called his bluff because it was so obviously fake. Why would Miguel text him, AJ, please send me a confessional by this time? Like, he wouldn't address you by name. That's not how texting works. Justin fell for it, because I'm pretty sure he voted for me. Mr. and Sean would have no incentive to switch their vote. Justin's trying to convince me that Sean voted for me. I don't see why he would do that. He was immune. He wasn't going home anyways. Justin was the only one with incentive to switch his vote, which is just a great reason to want to sit next to Justin at the end if I can. Even if I can't beat Mr., I'm pretty sure I can beat Justin because he will just believe any plan that anyone tells him. It feels like he's convinced people can't lie in the game. I don't know. But the fact that he actually believed that and bought into that is kind of crazy to me.
Throughout this game, I've been the jester, the tragic comic here, because I failed so miserably at so many things in this game. I'm still here. Fire making. It's Tetris. I'm pretty good at Tetris. My worry would be like playing Sean. He'd probably do better more than Pat. If I do get put in the fire making, this is where I gotta do it. I gotta win. I haven't won a single immunity challenge yet.
What were your initial thoughts when it said it was Tetris?
I am not a Tetris guy, per se. That does not change the fact that I want you to put me in fire. It has nothing to do with my winning chances. I think that that's not going to be boosted by taking out Sean or Justin in fire. I think it's just for me, I don't want to come back into the game, not have the chance to take a big shot and then get taken to the end. I want to feel like at least in some way or another I earned my way there. So I would appreciate it if you put me into fire. Plus, then it's not giving Sean or Justin a big move on their resume.
Who would you rather go against here?
I think it would be in everyone's best interest if you put me against Sean, because I think he's more likely to steal votes away from me and Justin and you. At the very least, putting me in against Sean, if I beat him, Lexi's vote is up for grabs. Whereas I don't think Justin has any locked votes right now, so what do we accomplish by putting him into fire?
I do have to ask, so you're certain that Brad's vote is locked in for you regardless?
I think it is. I'm not certain, but I think it probably is.
I can tell you I'm leaning towards sending you to fire, but I want to hear what everyone has to say.
Yeah.
Who do you think is your biggest threat currently?
Honestly, it's you or Pat. Respectfully to Justin. Justin has not done much in this game. He's coasted. He hasn't been a stooge or anything that AJ was saying, but he's certainly just kind of let the game unfold around him. And I definitely understand that, and it gets you far in the game. And I think he's maybe going for the I didn't piss anyone off. He's the one I'm least worried about. I look at you, and I think you got some crucial immunity wins. And certainly if you win fire, putting a third one under your belt right at the very end looks really good.
Which is why I'm not sure I can beat you right now. Before this past challenge, I thought I would beat you. But now that you just won this, I think I might need a fire win to be able to actually argue that, I was just better. I would love to go to fire. I'm not incredible at Tetris. I've played enough that I think I have a higher starting point than probably everyone else.
Are you going to get to the kill screen like the 13-year-old kid?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Where are you with Lexi's vote?
I'm pretty sure I have it.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you got Lexi's.
Pretty confident I have that.
Everything they're saying to me is true. Justin is the best at Tetris. Patrick scored behind him, and Sean really hasn't played at all. If I put Justin in, I'm putting him in because I trust him to win it all. Sean says he has Lexi's vote, and Pat says he has Brad's vote. That, like, before the game, there just were agreements in place that if this kind of result played out, those people would vote. So if I let Sean and Pat both get to the end, I've lost 2 votes, whereas if I send them to fire together, I'm guaranteed to get one of those votes back in play. The tricky thing here is that I'm giving someone a move. I could put myself in to prevent them. I think that I've done enough that I don't need this, but it's tough because I am giving someone else something tonight that won't be on my resume.
On the Tetris front, I've got to say, if there were a Most Improved Player award, I think it would be going to me, because I've never played Tetris before this week, and let me tell you, on Sunday, I was really bad at it. That just goes to show how much I've improved. I'm now pretty consistently hitting 100,000 when I play. The scary thing is I don't know if that's good or not. Sean and Justin both strike me as the kind of people who would be good at Tetris, because Sean is, he's kind of known for his video game stuff, and Tetris is like one of the quintessential video games, and I think it requires a lot of the same skills as most video games. And Justin, like, I have much less to back this up, but he's a game person. He strikes me as the kind of guy that would have played Tetris in his free time. I don't know if my abilities stack up to theirs. I don't even know if I'm playing. Andrew said he's leaning towards putting me in, like, yesterday. Haven't gotten any updates. He texted me how practice was going. I said, good. I think I'm feeling good. I think I'm going to be good in the clutch. And he just liked it and left it at that. If he doesn't put me in, I'm going to be a little upset with him, because I gain nothing, like, from a game perspective, from winning this challenge. The last thing I'd want is to fight my way back in the game, not have the opportunity to pull off a crazy move, and get taken to the end. Like, as a fan of this, of like Survivor, and someone who cares about it so much, that would really just like suck and be a really shitty way to cap my experience off in this game. So I hope that I at least get the opportunity to feel like I can earn my way to the end. I know I also seem like the kind of guy who would play Tetris in my free time, but I really don't. I've never played before. Spatial awareness isn't a weakness of mine per se, but it's definitely not a strength. That's not to say I'm giving up. If I knew how to give up, I would have done it by now.
Welcome to the Final Four Tribal Council. You guys have come a long way, but unfortunately, the journey ends tonight for one of you. The other 3 will go on to the final tribal council, where they'll have a chance to plead their case in front of the jury, and one of them will be crowned the title of sole survivor. So a lot at stake here tonight. Andrew Mister won immunity. So with that, he has a choice to make tonight. He will get to decide who gets to sit with him in the final 3, and which 2 people will compete in our Tetris one-on-one challenge. Mister, the first thing I'm going to ask you is who will be sitting with you in the final 3?
Well, I will answer the question, but I do want to just kind of take time to talk a little bit more about this decision, especially with a captive jury. I spent the last few days really evaluating my opponent's games. What I think is more important here is not about the resume, because at this point the resume is kind of finalized. You're putting in the finishing touches. You're turning it over to the jury. The most important thing I can do is ensure that I have as many jury votes available as possible. And the truth of the matter is there are 2 people who both have someone that they are for sure are going to vote for them. And it would be the most prudent choice for me to send both of those people to fire to make sure that one of those votes gets brought back on the table, which is why I will be bringing Justin to the final 3 and sending Sean and Pat to fire to try to open up Lexi or Brad's vote.
Okay, so you heard him, everybody. The decision is Justin will be in the final 3, and Patrick and Sean will compete in the Tetris challenge. Justin, how does it feel to have guaranteed your spot in the final 3 and have your chance to plead your case in front of the jury now?
Yeah, I mean, I spent a lot of time practicing. It's nice not having to worry about my safety. It would have been nice to compete, but at the same time, I'm putting a lot at risk there.
Sean, Patrick, this is your guys' time to shine. This is for all the marbles. By the end of this, one of you will be in the final 3, and the other will be the final member of our jury. We will witness you go through Tetris until you are out, like until you lose, basically. I'll write down the number of points that you got, and then we'll go to the next person. That person has to beat your score. If they beat your score, they win the spot in the final 3. If they're not able to beat your score, they are eliminated. We will spin the Wheel of Names to see who goes first. The Wheel of Names has spoken. Sean Evans will be going first. And without further ado, we got Sean Evans going at Tetris. He's going for the mouse method. You know, you can use your arrow keys or your mouse in this game. And looks like Sean elected the mouse.
This feels like systematic right now watching him.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Literally let him cook.
You guys will see my method is different.
Interesting method that Sean's going for. Seems like he's building up as big a stack as he can to maximize his points that he can get.
I mean, he seems to have been stuck in a bit of a loop there with a bit of zigzag pieces there. Seems to have broken out, but coming up looks like he's falling right back into it.
Zigzag pieces are so scary.
The blue long pieces are, the ones that usually save me.
Dude, the blue long pieces are so sexy.
I usually find myself just like waiting for those.
Yeah. My fear is that I have like an over-reliance on them.
I mean, they are just big long rods. They're obviously the sexiest piece.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Justin gets it.
Pause.
What's there to pause about?
Justin's a sucker for big long rods.
Oh yeah. Sean's in another unfortunate spot, but he could definitely get out of this based on my prior experience here.
All he needs is a long rod.
There's a long rod.
Sean at 126,000. Yeah, I mean, those pieces are starting to come faster.
Especially those long rods, I mean.
All right, Justin.
Sean has finally reached the lightning portion of the game. He just has to make sure he doesn't keep his mouse in one spot.
Placement. Yep, it's looking like... Oh, he's still in it.
Oh.
He's holding. He's fighting.
Zigzag would work right there.
Oh, shit.
Oh, Sean.
Zigzag, pull up the zigzag.
Okay, wait. 286-719. 286-719. Oh, Sean, that was a good run. How do you feel about your score? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Not my best, very far from it. Made a lot of mistakes early and recovered from them, but unfortunately that last set couldn't get through it.
So, as you can all see, I've got my work cut out for me. Sean, it's been real. Win or lose, much respect, and let's ride.
Yeah, likewise. Good luck.
It seems hats off to a good start.
In a very different approach. He's just going for the single line clears.
Now, Sean, something we noted with your strategy was you went the tower method, building up tall blocks, try and get those combos, and
trying to get the Tetrises.
I tried to utilize the most with back-to-back Tetrises. It seems you had that same idea.
It's the fastest way to get your score up.
Yes.
And especially in the early levels, you can give yourself a good base to work off of.
I also use a long blue rod to get my score up.
Why is it blue? Can I ask that question?
Some solid maneuvers being made by Pat over here.
He has that blue rod. Let's see if he remembers it.
All right. It is. Starting to get a little dicey here. He's starting to go up.
Just too much for Pat.
Oh, it's looking like he's being overwhelmed.
He's got 2 more. Yeah.
101.94.
Fortunately, you did not reach Sean's score. It was a good run. You definitely took a different approach than Sean, but ultimately, Sean won by a pretty good amount. So with that, Sean earns the final spot at the final tribal council. How does it feel, Sean?
I'm glad to get the chance to win one more challenge and really cement myself in the video game category of this overall Survivor game. Well played, Pat, or I was shocked to learn that you're using a trackpad and honestly extremely impressed that you got that far with the trackpad, so props to you. I don't think I could do that. Looking forward to the next session, and to the jury members that are here, hope you're ready to hear some stories, because I'm sure all three of us are going to be throwing many at you.
You know, Pat, you had quite a unique journey on Survivor Zoom Island, getting voted out fourth, battling your way back in the Battle Back Challenge, and then finally, you know, leading to you competing in the Final Four Challenge. What has this journey meant to you, Pat?
I came into this game expecting to play a very specific way, and that got upended almost immediately. I'm really proud of myself for adapting the way that I did. It would have been really easy for me to give up and sulk after I got voted out, but I continued to play my heart out from the edge, tried my hardest to get back in, and, you know, played my ass off once I got back in here. So I think it shows my perseverance above all else. And even though, you know, I'm not going to be sitting at the final three like I had dreamed of for the last 2-3 months, however long we've been playing, I'm very proud of the game that I played, and glad that I still get the opportunity to have a say in how it ends.
A true testament to what Survivor is all about, perseverance and never giving up. But, you know, Pat, with that, I got to say, for the second time, the tribe has spoken.
Today's the day. Final tribal. I would love to vote for Sean. That being said, I really need Sean to own his game and to be very clear about his contributions to certain moves throughout the game. Like, he needs to kind of show what he specifically did in order to make it to the end.
I'm gonna vote for Sean because of the beige thing, like fly the beige. And because when I got out, I said that I would. So yeah, even though I think he's a traitorous worm, I'll do that.
All three of the finalists fucked me over and never really gave me a chance and embarrassed me by publicly playing my phone calls, but at the very least, you know, Andrew was at least tactically good at the game, whereas the other players didn't do shit.
Andrew has been pretty much in like a very dominant position in this game for the entire game. As much as it hurts, his blindside against me was very good. I don't know much of what he could have done better. I haven't locked in my vote just yet. My vote for him isn't going to be a foregone conclusion tonight. I want him to earn it. For me, he's going to have to justify why he made the moves that he did and why they were good moves and not just flashy moves. Sometimes what you might see is people making big moves just for the sake of making big moves. And for like building a resume and all of that. But I think just because a movie is flashy doesn't necessarily make it good. Sean has played a better game than I think might be realized. He's made good use of what he's had in this game, and I think that deserves to be recognized.
I know that Justin and Mr. were definitely competitors. I mean, there's a reason why they're here at the final three. I just know Mr. loves the game, and probably the person that I know loves the game the most. It could come down to my friendship with any of the three. It could come down to who I started this game with. It could come down to who I think deserves to win. I'm really not sure.
What I'm hoping to hear from Mr. is that he took control of this game, which he absolutely did. He called the shot, not out in public per se, but definitely to me, where he knew that Siobhan and Frank were threats and flipped at the right time and made the right moves, just expecting him to kind of steamroll this final three. I mean, barring any Hail Marys from Justin or Sean that I didn't know about or the rest of the jury didn't know about. The big thing I want to hear from Sean and Justin is a little bit of honesty. I mean, it would be hard for someone to have a complete argument as to voting Sean or Justin outside of them being mad at Mr. for voting them out.
Personally, I don't really want to vote for any of them because fuck them. They all voted me out, but whatever, I guess someone has to win.
I'm not locked in at all yet. I definitely want to hear what everyone has to say. And I think the big thing that could get in Andrew's way, if his ego gets the best of him, I think Andrew knows that he has played a really good game, and I think he really likes the fact that he has played a really good game. And I think it's absolutely possible that he has convinced himself that he has played a perfect, flawless game. He hasn't. All I want from Andrew in Final Tribal is for him to admit that he benefited from some really lucky breaks over the course of the game. He was able to keep his low profile like he wanted in the pre-merge because he didn't really have to go to Tribal. He was targeted at the merge and survived,
because Siobhan had 2 idols. He benefited a lot from luck. He played his positions well, but he got really lucky. And I just need to hear him say that so I know that he has a full understanding of what actually happened in the game. From Sean, I want to know what his strategy in the end game was. And from what I understand, he wasn't really involved in any strategy talks towards the end of the game. He just got by and won a couple challenges that he, frankly, it would have been embarrassing if he lost. So what I want to hear from Sean is what he actually did to secure himself a spot at the end. And then Justin, what I really want from Justin is for him to just own his moves, own his game. I think Justin is a little too humble, a little too nice. I want him to come out guns blazing, tear down Sean's game, tear down Mister's game, prop up your game. He has some things that the other 2 finalists don't, and I want him to put that on full display for everyone tonight.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final Tribal Council. To Mr., Sean, and Justin, congratulations. You have outlasted everybody else in this game and have avoided being voted out. All of these 10 people, you have played a part in some way or another in getting them eliminated from the game. All the power now shifts to them as they will decide who will become the sole survivor tonight. Tonight, we are voting for a winner. We're not voting somebody out, so you want to see your name written down here. The person with the most votes will win the game. Justin, let's start with you to give your opening statement.
I'm here starting from a place coming into this game by myself. There were many pre-game alliances coming into this game, and I'd just like to say that I was not a part of any of that. I forged my own path coming through here from the start of this game, and it's all been built from this game. It hasn't been anything beforehand, nothing that was planned ahead of time. One of my biggest moves in this game was the initial Pat vote. By being part of the vote that got him out, this whole game changed. Because of that, I was able to make it here. I was a major part of the vote that got Frank out. It has seemed like this has been Andrew Mister's plan. I'd like to come out and say that it kind of wasn't. Me and Sean came to him with that idea the previous week. That was not his plan that he has touted that he came up with, but rather planned from the other side of the aisle that he jumped on the next week and claimed to be his own.
I'll go to Mr. next.
So first of all, I just wanted to say how excited I am to have gotten the opportunity to play this game with all of you. I remember the first week of lockdown. I had just come home from school and I turned on the TV and there was an episode of Survivor, and I had never really watched it before, but it hooked me immediately. I got the opportunity to start to share it with some of the people here, and it became a real touch point for our relationship. So then getting to play it with you all has truly been an honor, and I appreciate you cutting out time throughout your week to do this because it's made me very happy. In every vote, what I wanted to happen happened. Starting from voting out Allie, then voting out Lexi. At the following vote, it didn't really matter if it was Sean, Justin, or Brad. The most crucial thing to me in that vote was getting Frank to play his steal a vote advantage, because I needed it out of the game for me to then execute my last part of the plan, which was to take out Frank and Siobhan, who were playing phenomenal games that people who went to Tribal know just how flashy it was. And then concluding by taking out AJ, and then winning the Final 4 immunity challenge to secure my spot at the Final 3. I only have one immunity to show for myself. I think it was one of the most important immunities in the game, the one that secured me to the end. It's no secret that Justin, Patrick, and Sean were all targeting me by the end and wanted me out, and I prevented them from being able to do that. One of the biggest moments of my game was Frank, Siobhan, and I in a Zoom call working on an immunity idol, and it was this code that you had to decipher. And Frank said out loud, I think the phrase is the real survivor was the friends we made along the way. But he's like, I'm not sure, I just need to check. And in that moment of him checking, I picked up my phone and texted the phrase to Miguel and received the idol. And that was kind of the moment that let me run to the finish. I know Justin's saying that he pulled me in on that vote, but the truth is I did not consider it until I had the idol. The last thing I want to talk about is the people I'm going up against tonight. I think that they both played very good games,
but each played a good half of the game. I think Justin's voting record is great. The Pat move is a great vote, but he didn't do a lot in challenges. Sean had some great challenge wins. He had 3 in total. That last one was really crucial, but his voting history isn't really great. 2 of the people up here tonight only had each one half of the puzzle, and one person put both of them together to get here.
And we will go to Sean now.
I've won 3 challenges. It's the most out of everyone in the game. I don't necessarily have the greatest voting history. In the first vote that didn't go my way, I voted for Frank. Frank survived, and then immediately afterwards, there was a tribe swap. Frank and I were on a tribe alone, but neither of us went home because I was able to rebuild that bond with him. I won the first immunity challenge, so I was safe. I was able to make a bold move. It didn't go my way. Immediately after that, I am once again at the bottom, despite my name coming up in the next few votes. I was never actually a very strong target in any of them, and I was able to get myself back up onto the top. I hope that people are able to look past the 2 splotches on my voting record.
I'm now going to pass it over to our members of the jury, starting with Owen.
I'm not really familiar with Survivor very much. I've never watched the television program. My only exposure is playing it with y'all. But to me, it's a game of relationships and personal vendettas. And so I want to start off with my personal vendetta. I was the first person voted out, and the only person not in the game at that point was Andrew Mister. So Justin and Sean, why should I vote for you when you directly led to my demise?
I'm glad you asked that, Owen. It did hurt, voting you out. You don't want to piss off the majority, and majority was leaning your way, and if I made an enemy of everyone immediately, voting against anyone else, then I'm out next week.
Yes, I had a direct role in you getting eliminated, but only in the fact that the beige just won that challenge. I hope that you can forgive me in the respects that game respects game.
Let's move on to Jacob.
I've got, I think, reason to vote for any of the 3 of you. I really can't decide, and even with a little bit of information, I don't know what my decision is, so I just wanted to let you 3 know you have a very impressionable jury member right here, and I think your answers tonight could determine what I vote. And it's 1 vote, but that could determine.
Why don't we move on to Matt?
I have the same question for everybody. As a human, as an individual, as a person, what do you feel is your greatest flaw, and how did that flaw manifest in the game?
I think one of my biggest flaws that manifested in this game was a very personal, what if they don't like me kind of feeling. And so I think this game was kind of an opportunity for me to have a little more inner dialogue with myself, but also build some stronger bonds with someone. And I'm grateful that I got the chance to do that.
I'd say my greatest flaw that affected me in this game was just the fact that at times I could be very trusting of people. And I always want to be the person who puts faith in the people that I talk to and just believe that they're telling me the truth and want the best for me. It was kind of a rough reality to face at some times, trying to decipher who in this game I could really trust.
I think my biggest flaw for a very long time now has been always taking too long to reach out to people and then eventually losing contact with them. It's nice getting to talk to all of you again. And Matt, you were gone too soon. I really did want to keep working with you for much beyond the 3rd vote, and was sad to see you go.
Now I'm going to go over to Allie.
I have a question for each of you, and my first question is for Sean, and I would love it to be as concise as possible. How would you define jury management, and do you think it's important?
Can you clarify the question?
Jury management would be making sure that the people that end up on the jury see you maybe perhaps in a favorable light, and I wanted to know how important is that to you?
I understand where you're coming from with this, given how your specific vote went down. It obviously plays a role in the game. You can't win if people aren't going to vote for you. I'd like to think that I did a fairly good job managing the jury.
I'll freshen people up on what happened with me and Sean here, right? So Sean and Lexi were pretending to work with me, and Sean said that, oh, we're definitely voting. I think we were saying Frank. And I said, Sean, I'm like, you can just tell me, because this is moments before tribal council. I said, you can just tell me. And he's like, I promise you, we are not voting you. And we all know that I got voted out, which is fine. But the benefit of entering into a game where we all know each other is that we are aware of each other's personality. And so I think Sean's best move in that situation, especially since the four of them were in lockstep, I believe should have been to tell me the truth. And therefore, I think he did a poor job at jury management, which I view as a factor that candidates should consider while they are playing the game. And so therefore, Sean, you will not be getting my vote. Okay, Andrew, since you so
Can I
articulately...
follow up on that real quick?
No. Andrew,
Okay. I just hope that Andrew gets the exact same question, since, like you said, the four of us were in lockstep, and I don't see myself as the bad guy there.
Andrew, as you articulately said at the beginning of your speech, every vote you did went your way, especially the one with Allie. So I want to know, why did you want to vote for me? And in your eyes, like, I guess the way you said that made it seem like you planned it. So, like, why me?
One of the things that was important for me was to get late in the game with some other people that I knew were like as crazy passionate about this game as I was. And the thing is, Allie, since voting you out, I've seen, and like even you talking about jury management, like I didn't maybe fully appreciate how much you do enjoy this game and stuff. But for me, the vote was merely just, I know that Sean and Lexi have watched it more than how I perceived you. And Frank has watched it and is a huge strategizer, and I know really loves strategy. And so it was about progressing some people that I thought would get like the most out of this experience.
Justin, why is your game better than Andrew's game? Go.
I've sort of been under the radar, but I've also been the target for a majority of this game. I feel like I've sort of been, as I've thought of it, the cockroach of this game. Every time that people have tried to get me out, I've just remained.
Next, let's go to Lexi.
Mister, you had told me that you were not working with Siobhan. Then we sense that a merge is coming. We know Siobhan is a big player on the other side due to the flip on the Pat vote. I suggest maybe her being a vote like post-merge, and then you kind of were like, no, I don't think we should do that. After the merge, you know, you helped her get the idol and everything, and this is what kind of tipped me, Sean, and Brad off to be suspicious of the two of you actually working together when you had told me that you weren't. And this is kind of why I got voted out, because then when that plan got leaked, all of a sudden then it got flipped back, whatever. People know what happened. How did you view your relationship with, or your alliance like with Siobhan in the game? What was the real timeline of you guys working together? And like, why were you lying to me about it, I guess? How did that fit into your plan?
Going into the game, I really did want to do Lexi, Sean, Pat, and I as this four. But I had done the math in my head that we'd be probably merging around 9 or 8, and 4 would only tie a vote, and we needed a 5th. We all had our idea of who a 5th would be. Siobhan was one of the people I thought of and was interested in, but didn't necessarily know if that would be her. And I think something got lost in translation here. I wasn't saying I will not vote for Siobhan at the next vote. I was encouraging us to keep her as one of our numbers. Her finding the idol was merely a coincidence of her being in my house when that happened, that she was working on it and sitting next to me. And in fact, there were 6 of us in that Zoom call that any one of us could have gotten it. She happened to be the most methodical and strategic and end up putting it together and finding in front of us. But I still wasn't at that point like totally sold on, I'm gonna go with Siobhan and Frank. I was still in my head on the original plan at the time. It flipped for me when Frank came to me and was able to prove to me that you and Sean had thrown out my name as collateral on Siobhan. And when I realized that you were willing to throw me out as a backup choice was when my relationship with you fractured. And even still, I didn't want to take you necessarily out of the game. But we needed to vote on someone. We knew Justin had an idol. And what we ended up deciding was scheming out a vote split between you and Brad and seeing where Justin would play that idol. And so while I helped orchestrate it at the end, it only happened because you and Pat, or you and Sean, had thrown my name out as collateral damage, and I felt like I was no longer valued in our alliance.
Next up is Brad.
Yeah, what up, gang? I've been sitting here, right? You know, tension might be a little high. You know, Mr. Justin, Sean getting a little nervous, hot under the collar. You know, but I think we're missing something here. You know, we're going right over the top, right? We gotta just right back down to earth, right? This is about fun, right? We're with all of our friends, it's supposed to be a good time. Miguel's setting this up for all of us. So I want to go one by one. Same question, everybody. I want to know, first off, what your favorite part of this game has been up to this final three.
Getting to see everyone again, it's just amazing. Ever since everyone kind of left, it's sort of been empty, and I feel like this sort of filled the void that has been missing.
If I had to bring it down to just one individual moment, I'm gonna have to go with the 72 Celtics in the Garden.
I would like you to help me identify what you think the other two players' best move was.
I think Justin's biggest strength is, like he said, he was just a cockroach. He played Russian roulette multiple times and came out alive. I think Andrew's greatest strength in this game, or best moves, really almost have been the lack of them. He didn't have to do anything super flashy to get here. Andrew had the definition of peaking at the right time.
I think for Justin, it's very obvious. It's the Pat move. I think it's the kind of flashiest move on his resume. And it did disrupt the game. Whether Justin knew it or not, it was an incredibly disruptive move, and it certainly was his best move. Sean being open, listening to me, and then we had a very amicable reconnection at the Frank vote, and being just very real and raw, especially in that moment, I think was his best move to get him to the end here.
Sean himself, he was a challenge beast in this game. He won when he needed to, and that was very important for his game. And I can't fault him. He was a great player throughout. For Mr., I'd say his biggest strength was aligning with the right people at the right time in this game.
All right, Frank, you're up.
Okay, so just a really quick answer to this, because I have a follow-up question for you. And this is just for my own curiosity. How far in advance were you planning the blind side on me and Siobhan and AJ?
The moment I got the idol.
Okay. On the actual show, you hear a lot of talk about big moves and building a resume and whatnot. A person can get a little too carried away with that kind of philosophy. Sometimes flashy moves aren't necessarily better. You see people on the show trying to make big moves for the sake of making big moves, and it's not always smart. And you see winners who play really good, solid games that aren't really flashy and don't involve a lot of big moves. Obviously, you blindsiding me was a big move, and obviously it worked out for you. But I feel like an interesting thing about your game is that if you had just stayed the course with us, you were going to be in the final three anyway. It was going to be you and me and Siobhan. Kind of what I want is for you to convince me that the path that you actually took was the better one.
Some of you know, I was a big swimmer through high school, and my last meet of the year was the one that you spend all year talking about. It's your super. We were supposed to win it. We were the best team that year. Late in the meet, one of our relays gets disqualified, and that point difference ends up costing us the meet, and we lose, and we have to watch another team celebrate that, senior year Super Bowl. And the kicker of all this is that the referees called a DQ on the wrong lane. We didn't do anything illegal. They just called it on the wrong person, but it's high school. They're not going to let mom and dad from the stands come down with video evidence and use it. And that kind of has always stuck with me as sometimes you play really hard and it doesn't always pay off. In this game, I knew that wasn't something I wanted to do. That if I had a chance to win, I wanted to win. I didn't want to just get to the end knowing I was going to lose, because that's not a win. I'd rather burn out early because I knew it would have gotten me to the win. So the move on you was not a just big move itis thing. It was because I knew if I stood the course with you, I'd be sitting on the sidelines once again celebrating the trophy that, I wanted to lift up. You guys were fucking outstanding in this game. And the person who took you down would be the person to win. And I knew I couldn't stand by and risk someone else doing that right at the end.
I'm very curious what went down during the Siobhan vote. Because the way I see it, after I got out of the game and Pat came back in, if Siobhan gets to the end, she's a big threat to win. If Andrew gets to the end, he's a big threat to win. But Andrew had an idol and Siobhan didn't. So I'm a bit confused as to why she was the target there.
Siobhan was the by far larger threat. Up until that point in the game, the only real big move that Andrew had made was joining hands with Justin and I to vote you out. It didn't seem worth risking the possibility of Siobhan making it through from a split vote.
Let's go to Siobhan next.
I'm gonna start off with Justin. What is your response to the fact that your idol play during the Lexi vote was kind of a fail?
In my eyes, in hindsight, yes. Do I wish I played the idol somewhat differently? Yes. But with the knowledge that I had, I was still supposed to be one of the names on that ballot. The only reason it was switched to Brad and Lexi was because of last-minute information that was given to the other side of the vote. In that moment, it was the right move for me to play my idol on myself.
Sean, I'm gonna move on to you. I give you a lot of credit for not voting your girlfriend out. So I know Andrew kind of brought this up in his little diss track of you. I know kind of it was in your best interest to sort of lay low the last 3 or 4 votes. Do you think there is anything that you could have done to kind of make it a bigger play earlier on?
I think my biggest regret in this game does come down to that first vote after the merge. I was very much the loudest voice in the room in that group of 4 and was the one really driving the strategy behind that. And I made the mistake of committing too early and not taking one more look at the situation and getting everyone to flip back onto Frank, who was the initial target. And if I had taken that one extra step, this game would have been very different. And I really did have to fight to make sure that I had the trust of Frank, of Andrew, to survive that next vote, because it very well could have been me.
But you were essentially pimping out your vote, correct? Would you say that's fair?
No, actually, I wouldn't say that's fair. That is what I made it seem like. Absolutely.
I was getting to a really important point here.
Continue.
If you were in this situation where you needed money, would you regular pimp yourself out?
I was a vote for hire. I was very much trying to seem basically like a mercenary. The reasoning behind that wasn't to actually be a mercenary and follow anyone's lead. It was to gather information from as many people as I could to then make the most informed decision for my game moving forward.
Andrew, do you agree you're kind of stupid?
Yeah, I agree.
What I would say, I'm going to classify you as, is the only person in this game that's having real world consequences because of their actions. How does that make you feel? And how does that make you, in your opinion, look to the jury?
Well, I'll say to the jury that considering my recent involuntary vow of celibacy, I'm considering the priesthood. So Father Mister is happy to hear your confession after the game.
Do you love Survivor more than you love me?
No. I love you more than Survivor.
Mm-hmm. All right, you sexist little whore. I'm done with you.
First, I have a comment, and then I have a question unrelated to the comment. The comment is that Sean and Justin, I think that you definitely could have gotten Siobhan and Andrew both out. I think that your answer to that was really weak, the weakest in this Zoom session. But you definitely could have gotten him to play his idol and gotten Siobhan out and then gotten Andrew at the final week. But whatever. You have to have your justifications. But my question is totally unrelated to that. I happened to see Andrew in person a week ago by happenstance, and he told me that whenever I was on phone calls with any of you guys, you were all in a Zoom session together and playing my phone calls aloud and all convening and laughing at me at the same time on Zoom calls. And, so you guys really did me dirty, and I'm curious, whose idea was it to do that?
That only happened to me once, and it was only because I was already on the Zoom, and you happened to call, and to keep people in good graces, I had to unfortunately give up my conversation with you.
So you were the first person to do it in the call? Started the trend?
No, I think Pat was.
Last member of the jury, Patrick Lyons.
Sean, I think there is a lot of merit to playing an under-the-radar game, kind of sinking below the radar. My issue with your game is I'm not sure if you ever resurfaced. I came back into the game at the final 6, and every single person who was in the game at that point reached out because they wanted to talk to me individually and see where my head was at, except you. Why did you never reach out? Was I not important to your plans? Were you that sure that you were guaranteed to get to the end? What was the reasoning behind not even trying to strategize with me and just letting, Mr. and Justin get to me?
I should have talked to you. However, even if I had, I don't think it would have changed anything. And I think I did resurface. I think I started taking a more active or having a more active voice in the tribal councils later in the game. And I also won 2 challenges extremely late in the game after you returned.
Justin, What I really want to hear from you is you taking ownership of your game and your moves. So I want you to tell me and the rest of the jury about a time in the game where you had key information that a lot of other people in the game lacked and you used it to your advantage.
Unfortunately, that move is you. It seemed very concrete that AJ was going to be the one going home. And I realized the fact that it was completely necessary for you to be out. Without me coming on board at all, Siobhan doesn't come on board either. AJ was not going to sway her at all. Siobhan was very on the fence this entire time with voting you out. But it was my words and my argument that swung her and ended up shifting the course of this game.
We're going to round things out with Mr. Mister himself. You have truly played a really good game start to finish, but I also believe that it is impossible to win Survivor without being extremely lucky at one point or another. I think there were several points in this game where you were very, very lucky. I would like you to explain to me and the jury the role that luck played in your game.
That first part of the game, while lucky, I recognized, and I knew I had to rise above that I could not get here off of a bunch of dice rolls. At some point, I had to pick them up and roll them myself. And I think that I made the moves at the right time to prove to this jury that it was not luck the whole time. What some people call luck is skill that you don't fully realize yet. And I feel like I realized those skills as this game progressed.
Once again, from the bottom of my heart, congratulations to all three of you. You all played fantastic games, and I'm very proud to say I had a part in all of the games that you played.
Now I'm going to give you an opportunity to give a closing statement.
I won the most individual immunity challenges of the three of us sitting here. I purposefully asked for myself to be put into fire making because I was confident that I could win, and I did. I won challenges at the end of the day, and when I didn't win challenges and my name was on the chopping block, it never ended up being me.
What separates my game from the other two people I'm sitting next to is, from my perspective, they're asking you to ignore parts of their games. They're admitting wrong moves that they made, like not flushing my idol or not talking to Pat, that they are openly saying, I made mistakes here, and telling you to ignore that. While I'm telling you the things that I actively did, the votes I controlled, the challenge I won, the people that I talked to. I controlled this game whenever I could get a hand on the wheel, and once I got both of them on, I didn't let up.
I'm not asking you to ignore my mistakes. In fact, I welcome you to look deeper into them. I was able to play the social game and get votes moved off of me and onto other people, getting people out in this game and remaining in this game in the process.
Jurors, thank you for your questions. Final three, thank you for your answers. And now there's only one thing left to do, but vote. So, for the last time in this season, everybody, please text me who you would like to win the game. Remember, you are voting for a winner. All right, I'm tallying the votes. Before I read the votes, I want to thank you guys all for an amazing past 3 months and change in this game. This idea came up, over the last summer. I wasn't really seriously considering doing it because I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to make my friends hate each other. This is a terrible idea. I was very surprised as to how much you guys bought into this. I was really like, I don't know if they're really going to care. I wasn't even going to have you guys record it or anything like that. But then you guys all started sending me confessionals and I was like, okay, keep them coming. Let's make this a real thing. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you guys all for, an amazing game and a great excuse to see your guys' faces every week. But with that, there's still a vote to get to. And we have a winner. Without further ado, I will read the votes. First vote, Mr. That's 1 vote, Mr. Mr. That's 2 votes, Mr. Mr. That's 3 votes, Mr. Mr. That's 4 votes, Mr. Mr. 5 votes, Mr. The winner of Survivor Zoom Island, Andrew Mister. Congratulations. That is all votes for Andrew Mister.
Thank you guys.
Congratulations, Andrew Mister. You will be receiving a Venmo of $5.
I'm going to Disney World!
In 2020, I started watching Survivor on a whim. I loved it so much that I told all my friends about it, and they all then got into it as well, and that's kind of how this game pieced together.
I think we've reached the end of our journey, folks. I hope to get some sympathy from the audience at home. I think I'm tapping out.
Oh my goodness.
I'm starting to get a little bit of a weird headache.
Justin, please no. Justin, stop.
I am stopping.
Stop.
I am stopping. All right. Peace.